Hello everyone, Chris Guthrie here, host of SellerCast, and in today's episode I speak with David Mitchell, who's been selling on Amazon within the baby space. And the cool part is that on this episode, he's going to be sharing some of the exact products that he's been selling within that space, and also some of the successes, failures, and struggles along the way as well. The cool part too is he's also gearing up to sell digital products. So instead of limiting himself to just Amazon, he's also going to be selling some digital products as well to the audience he's already built while growing his Amazon business. So listen to this episode. I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please go to sellercast.com/19 to check out the show notes. You'll also have transcription and everything else there as well. Thank you so much for tuning in, and let's start the show. Hello, everyone. Chris Guthrie here, and with me today is David Mitchell. David, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me, Chris. How are you doing?
Doing well, and thank you so much again for joining me. You know, you're going to be talking about your business and sharing with the rest of people as well. So let's dive into it. You know, I know that you're selling within the baby niche, right? Do you want to talk a little bit about the products you're selling, and then we'll kind of get into why you picked that niche, you know, what you have been selling, some of the other strategies you've been doing to grow your business, and we'll go from there.
So, yeah, like Chris just said, we are selling in the baby niche. And basically how that started is when I got this job just over a year ago, my boss kind of said to me, you know what, we have this idea to sell baby products because it really is an evergreen industry, an evergreen market, right? People are always having kids and they're always wanting to buy products for their kids. So he actually created a Facebook fan page with the title Love Your Baby. And he generated about 30,000 fans, an audience of 30,000 people. And these are all young mothers who have kids from the age of 1 to 3. So he kind of said to me, we have this people and I really want to get in this market. And I know a lot of people who are making a lot of money selling on Amazon. So I need you to learn how to basically sell on Amazon, pick some products. And then, you know, we already have the audience to launch this. So we're a step ahead of most people starting their companies, right? So after he kind of gave me that little task, just so you guys know, I have no experience in any e-commerce. I have no experience dealing with baby products or anything of that sort at all. So this was all very new to me.
So before you get too much further along, and that's interesting. So you were hired, and then it was like, here, learn this thing because I'd like to get into this niche. And then, you know, here's some stuff you can learn from. And you had the Facebook page already. Can you talk a little bit about how the Facebook page is built? And then we can kind of get back to where you're at with the business.
And that really is exactly how it went, what you just said.
Okay.
But so the Facebook page, he actually created the Facebook page before I was around, but how he did it literally was he just created a fan page and then boosted the page with paid advertising. And I think the ad that he used was literally something that just said, like us if you love your baby, something really. And I mean, what parents going to say no? They're going to say, yeah, I do love my baby. And they're going to hit like, right? So I think he spent around $8,000 over the span of a few months, and that's what generated all the fans. And then basically just to upkeep and keep all these people engaged is I post stuff every day, you know, just funny little memes that are relevant to parenting, just some articles that people might find interesting. It's just kind of constantly keeping them engaged and keeping them kind of involved with our company and our brand.
Okay, so the audience is basically there, and that was the idea was, okay, we have this baby audience. People are doing well selling on Amazon. Go learn how to sell on Amazon, and let's market those products to that audience.
Exactly.
Okay. So then what products did you start selling, and can you talk a little bit about that process as well?
So the first product I went with was these 3 set of baby bowls. So actually I had a 3 set of baby bowls that we received a sample of, and I also had a single baby bowl that we had a sample of. And these are suction baby bowls. So basically the whole idea behind them is that you can suction them to the table, and when your kid's being fussy while he's eating, which is pretty common, they're not going to be able to throw the food in the bowl all over the place, right? So parents love the idea of that. So I didn't know what product would sell well. I kind of looked at these samples, and I knew they were good quality, but I didn't know if the 3 set would sell better than the individual one. So we just said, hey, do you know what? Let's just put them both up and basically split test them against each other and see which one sells better. So very quickly, we realized that the set of 3 bowls sold quickly, much quicker. So getting back to why we actually chose these bowls, well, we wanted to deal with a product that we could sell private label with our own brand on it. So immediately I wanted to look for products that people wouldn't think twice about buying, having never heard of our brand. I mean, if we tried to do something, I mean, even baby bottles I was considering, but people, they really are particular about certain things like that, not so much about just the bowl you're eating out of. So they're going to see these plastic bowls and they've never heard of Love Your Baby, but it's a plastic bowl. If it looks like it's good quality, it looks like somewhat of a legitimate company, they're not going to think twice about buying. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of the main factor that led me to choosing these bowls. And then also there's other things to take into consideration, such as, they're light to ship. They can sell for about $20, so I know I'll be able to get a decent margin out of them. And there wasn't too much competition from what I saw. So I thought it would have been a really good opportunity to kind of jump in there and see what we could do with these bowls.
Okay, so let's go back to the fact that you had a set of 3 bowls and you also had a single bowl. How did you actually sell those two, or did you basically just market them both to the audience at the same time and say pick which one you like or something, or how did you do that?
Well, we basically just created the two. Well, we created one product listing, and even though the bowls they're not very similar, they're similar enough that Amazon didn't really say anything when we made them a variation of each other. So basically any review, and which most people know, Amazon's all about the reviews when it comes to boosting your product ranking. So definitely any review we would get would go towards both bowls. But I mean, you can see really quickly if people are buying more of the 3 set or the single bowl, right? So when it came down to marketing to our audience, what we did is we just did a giveaway. We said, you know what, let's give away 100 bowls and ask people for unbiased reviews on our products, because you can't say that you're going to give them a bowl for a good review, right? Just we'll give you a bowl and then please tell us what you think about the bowl. That'd be really greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
So when we first launched that, I mean, it was probably 80-20, 80% people wanting the 3 set of bowls and 20% people wanting the single. So right away I could tell what people wanted just by looking at the product and seeing kind of what it had to offer. And then when we actually started getting sales, it kind of proved that point even more. I mean, not many people were buying the single bowl. I mean, we usually capped out about maybe 5 sales a day, when at our peak we're selling 40, 50 of the 3 set of bowls. So
yeah. That's interesting how you did that. Now, I'm assuming that there was a price difference between the 3 bowl and the single bowl as well.
Yeah. So the pricing, I didn't really know what I was doing when it came down to the pricing. So I kind of just looked at competition, looked at what we were paying, and just kind of tried to fiddle around to find something that was acceptable. So at first, the 3 set of bowls, I think we're selling for around $16. And the single bowl also came with a spoon and a fork. So it wasn't just like 1 bowl compared to 3. So there was a bit more of almost more added values, where the single bowl, people only wanted 1 bowl because you got the fork and the spoon as well. But I think we were selling that one for about maybe just $1 less. So that definitely probably did affect the sales between the two, because I think when people look at a stack of 3 bowls, there's just a lot more perceived value. I mean, you're getting 3 compared to getting 1.
Yeah, but the cool thing is almost as if you're getting some price anchoring effect there, where you have the single bowl that's $1 less, but then they're on the same listing and they see that you have a triple, 3-pack of bowls for only $1 more. Than like, oh, this is a great deal.
That's very true. Yep.
And since they're already on that listing, so then did you completely discontinue that listing, the single bowl, or is that one still there?
No.
In addition to the 3 bowls,
it's still there. I kind of wanted to see. I tested a few things because they were a product variation of each other. So we sold out of the 3 set of bowls fairly quickly. And when that happened, a funny thing happened. It actually jumped up the sales of the single bowl. They almost doubled, actually. And I think that's because the traffic was going towards the 3 set of bowls, because I do believe we still had the Amazon ads running at the time. So maybe all the traffic from that was going to the product listing. So that was out of stock, but then people would end up buying the single bowl. So we were still selling about 10, 11 of the single bowls when we didn't have the 3 set of bowls in stock. So we know there's potential and people are willing to purchase that. So we didn't think it was worth discontinuing the listing completely. So recently we did order some, and that's we ordered enough stock to last us quite a bit, because they're still not selling great at the moment.
Okay, that's cool. And so then how many did you start out with then in total? You said you gave away 100 through your Facebook group, and then you saw about 80% were picking the triple. Yeah.
Yeah, so we started with 500 of each, 500 of the single bowl and 500 of the 3-pack.
Okay. Cool. And then, so that one's been going pretty well. And then you started expanding into other products as well.
Yeah. So the 3 set of bowls were selling really well. I mean, we were almost doing about 20 grand in sales a month alone just off that product. And that was only about 3 months after we launched it. So things were going really well for that. At that point, it was looking a bit more consistent. I knew we weren't going to be selling much more. So it was almost, I didn't want to say peaked because it gradually still was selling more, but it was time that we knew that product was okay. We could leave it alone. And now let's try and expand, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then I basically just followed the same process I did when I chose the baby bowls. And I kind of found this one product I liked that stood out to me. And it were the 100% bamboo washcloths. And why those stood out to me was because parents are really cautious about the type of products they use for their kids, especially when it's a product like a washcloth that they're going to be rubbing all over the child, using during feeding time, bath time. I mean, mothers are going to have these on their person for basically anything, right?
Yeah.
So we decided to go with those, and at the same time we went with silicone bibs as well because those seemed like they were selling pretty well on Amazon and there wasn't much competition either. But it's kind of funny because after we decided to branch off into these new products, we basically had we had some issues with the baby bowls. I mean, nothing's going to run that smoothly forever. So we had some things which I was anticipating were to happen eventually, and it just so happened that they all kind of happened in a span of 2 weeks. So if you want me to talk about that, I absolutely can.
Yeah, sure. So you had some type of maybe negative competition things, or
yeah, exactly. So the biggest thing was we ordered 2,000 bowls. At this point, we thought things were rolling great. We could order 10,000, and we'd still be selling them like hotcakes. So we ordered 2,000, and we still don't know exactly why this happened, but we're certain almost the entire order showed up defective and warped a little bit on the actual section on the bottom.
Oh, no.
Yeah, so the way they're stacked in the box, they're stacked kind of the big one at the bottom, middle one, the small one. So
yeah.
The large suction on the bowl was flattened, so it clearly looked like there was almost too much weight when they were shipped.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we weren't certain if 100% of that order was like that, but I mean, you can only assume at that point. Once it's in Amazon's warehouses, we don't really have a choice but to continue selling. So we actually we had options. So we looked at it and we said, okay. We started seeing the bad reviews come in. I ordered the bowl myself. I saw the issue myself. So we said to ourselves, we can either continue selling these bowls and we're going to take a hit on our product listing because there will be bad reviews coming in. Mm-hmm. Or we can do a complete product removal and, bite the bullet on about 7 grand. So after we sold about 1,000, we only had about 30 negative reviews come in. So that's not horrible. So I think we just decided, let's just sell the remaining 1,000. But, we got to take immediate action on this. We got to let people know we know this is an issue and that this is an issue and here's how you can stop it. Because, I mean, when I ordered the bowls, I saw that it was flattened, but it's silicone, right?
Yeah.
So when you put it through the dishwasher, it regains its shape and it regains its suction. So we just immediately changed our automated emails to let people know if you receive this product and it's not sticking, let it soak in hot water for a little bit, put it through the dishwasher, and then give it a try. And if not, send us a message directly. Don't go on Amazon. Don't leave us a bad review. Come to us directly and we'll make this right. So that definitely did help because I did notice a lot of emails coming in, which we're happy. I'd rather people talk to me directly than go on Amazon. You kind of can get her back. So.
And so were you already using SalesBacker at that time, or was that a bit later?
Yeah, I think, yeah. This was right after the Vegas event. So, yeah.
Okay, cool.
We're using SalesBacker. So SalesBacker's been awesome so far.
That's great. And so, I mean, it's always interesting to talk to people, to customers that are using it in different ways. And so that's cool because basically you knew there was this problem that could be rectified. And I was curious to see, I wanted to let you finish talking to see how you'd solved it. But that way you're able to use your automated follow-up sequence to then help reduce those negative reviews that could potentially come in by giving them some instructions on how to solve that problem. So that's interesting. So then now are you through that inventory now and then you've had that fixed? I mean, did you have them pack the bowls sideways in the box
that's
instead
exactly what we did. So we did get through
Okay.
that inventory, and since then we've ordered another 2,000 units, I think it was. And so far we haven't seen the same complaints at all. So what we did is I had our supplier create a little cardboard cutout to place inside the box, and basically that just added a bit more support under the bowl.
Oh, okay.
So if there were pressure on it, at least that could kind of absorb a bit of the weight. And then we did exactly what you just mentioned. We flipped the packaging sideways, and I think that's probably what did it.
Wow, that's cool. And so then, what was the other thing too? I was curious about that. Were you doing now after that happened? Rather, did you have an inspection service look at the products before they shipped out that order, or did you your supplier knew along the way that there were these problems and you were going to be talking to them to fix them?
We have a sourcing agent, and she's great. She actually goes and visits all of the factories. So I mean, after that happened, I had a few words with the supplier because nobody wanted to take responsibility for it.
Yeah,
it could have happened during shipping. It could have happened during packaging, but there's no way to find that out. So yeah, I just kind of made it very clear that this will absolutely not happen again. I told the supplier and I told our sourcing agent, I said, we're going to take every precaution we can, even if it costs a bit more in shipping. We're going to get thicker boxes. We're going to do it on the side. We're going to put almost these like sectional things between each layer inside each box, which takes away a bit of room of what you can put in the box. But, better safe than sorry at this point, because we can absolutely not afford for that to happen again. So since then, it's been good. It is always kind of a concern of mine after that happened, because, everything was going good. That was the last thing I expected to happen when we ordered our order.
Yeah.
So you were asking about some of the other things that happened to us?
Yeah, I was curious about that. Yeah. And when you mentioned there were some issues, but then you're still selling other products now and you're doing well. Or are there some other issues that happened to the baby bowls as well?
Yeah, there's some other issues that happened. These all, like I said, this all happened in the span of 2 weeks. So
yeah, go ahead and share if you can. Yeah. I mean, I think that this is helpful for people that are already selling and doing well, and maybe they just haven't had this happen. Maybe that think, okay, maybe I should use an inspection service.
Exactly.
Or gives them some ideas. So yeah, go ahead.
So that was the only thing that happened physically to the products. But we also had the review of death, is what I like to call it. What everybody's going to experience at one point or another, I'm sure. So we had this woman basically just destroy us in a review. It was a long review. She was saying that our product was awful, comparing it directly to a competitor's, and saying that we were scamming people, which is a word you do not want on your page at all. And this review actually got some likes by people looking on the page, which I'm not surprised it did when it's right at the front. I mean, I wouldn't want to buy a product if I saw something like that. Yeah. So this was really concerning to us. So we tried to get it removed. We're saying that you can't call our product or a brand a scam, because we're not. We aren't saying or selling anything that we're not providing, or like in the description, like the picture is exactly what you're getting, like the product is exactly what we're saying it is. You cannot be happy with the product, but you can't call us a scam. Amazon didn't see eye to eye with us on that one, so they refused to remove it. But thankfully, after we went through the poor inventory, we started getting better reviews, and that one eventually got bumped down. So that one's kind of in the past now. But there was a period of time where our conversions were really down, and I knew it was because of that review. Because I mean, yeah, you can't miss it. It's at the top of the page. They're saying some pretty horrible things. So
So was it the most helpful critical review then as well?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a killer. Because I mean, that when people are looking at product listings, they're looking at the top positive review and the top critical review. If they're doing anything beyond just looking at the images and the title and the bullet points of a listing, and so yeah, I can see that. But then you're able to you fix those issues with the products you talked about before, and we're able to get past it. So. Yep. Cool. So then, so let's talk about some of the other products that you've been doing, and then maybe we'll talk about some other things you're doing beyond physical products as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So the main ones to focus on, I guess, would be the washcloths, the 100% bamboo washcloths. So that's actually a package of 6 10 by 10 inch washcloths, right? They're perfect for, usually bath time is primarily what we're selling them for, or marketing them for, but I mean, parents can use those for anything. So we did our launch the same way we did with our bowls. And these never did grab traction like the baby bowls did, which, I was kind of disappointed because I thought they would. I thought I really chose a great product. Approaching this product, I was more experienced, I had more information about what I was doing. So we were only selling about like one or two of those a day. But recently it slowly started getting more traction, and we've been seeing more and more growth with those products. They're still nowhere near the baby bowls, but you kind of really, what it really says is you have one all-star product, and then you can have 5 to 10 others that are only selling a fraction of that. It makes up, right? That's kind of what I believe these products are going to be like. Same with the bibs. So, we're never going to be selling 30, 40 a day. But, if we can sell 5 to 10 a day, then like that's perfectly fine with me. And like that's kind of what we have to expect.
Yeah, I mean, that way, if you just know you can eventually get to, say, 20, 30, 40, 50 products, then, you'll hit some winners within there that are going to be doing really well. And then the other ones can just kind of help supply a little bit of extra sales along the way.
Absolutely. And I mean, even if you're selling 2 a day, like it's still profit, even if it's a very small amount. But
okay.
I mean, currently right now, I'm actually in the process of, we're going to launch in Amazon, Canada, and then shortly after that, UK and Mexico. So, I mean, it's the same thing. You might not get a ton of sales in those markets, but, if you get 2 here, 3 there, I mean, before you know it, you're doubling your business just by expanding and branching out, right?
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and so then I wanted to, since we're about 2/3 of the way through our conversation, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the other stuff you're doing beyond physical products, right? Because you say you've had this audience, now you have people that are buying your products on Amazon, and you've mentioned that you're looking at doing some digital products as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So we kind of had this idea where, why are we so fixated on baby products? You got to look at the audience we have and who our customers are. And it's women, it's young mothers, women in the age of 18 to 35, I think is our biggest market. So what else can we market to them? Like, what else can we do? And at this point, we really were kind of focusing on the idea of a digital product, because once you pay to get a digital product created, it's all profit at that point, right? You own it. You don't have to deal with inventory or anything like that. So it's very simple, and it's an easy way to go. So we thought, and we said, you know what? A big issue a lot of these young mothers have is basically they want to get back to their old self to before they're pregnant, and it's hard. And a lot of them deal with a lot of postpartum depression, stuff like that, which is horrible. So we decided to create a post-pregnancy ebook, which has all these great tips and everything to help mothers, feel really good about themselves after they have a kid. So we worked on that, and we have that created. We haven't launched it yet, but we keep picking away at it and adding more things, just trying to add as much value as we can so that these mothers really feel like they're getting, a great product out of this, something very useful.
Okay, so then I think what I'll do is I'll follow up with you after you've launched it, and then I'll add something to the show notes. So sellercast.com/19 will be where you can go to see an update on how that went. But let's talk about the price point then. What are you planning on selling that for? And are you going to sell just the ebook? Or are you going to have some upsells to other, if your physical products maybe? Or
so we have upsells. So currently right now, I mean, we got somebody to write the book for us. We got someone to ghostwrite the book for us. And it's only about a 50-page book, but it's got a lot of really good information. So at first, that's all we were going to go with. But, I really wanted something else. I mean, this is information. Technically, anybody can just go and research themselves, right? I didn't really think that added value was there. Not enough for people to be willing to pay for it, right? So then I kind of got the idea of, let's try and develop or find some sort of personal trainer or something, which you can find basically anybody on Elance or Fiverr. Let's just try and create like a specific almost workout and fitness plan specific for mothers who have just given birth. And, it's more catered to their needs and what they can actually do physically, because, you can't go and physically exert yourself after having a baby. Mm-hmm. So we started working on that. And I think that is going to be probably the main selling factor when people are going to purchase this is, they're getting this actual almost tactical thing from this book. It's not just reading. They're getting something that they can follow, and it's got tracking sheets in it. And, on top of that, as an upsell, we also found all these great diets. So we found all this stuff that was private label, and we just purchased it, and now we can actually add that to our baby book. So not only are they getting the whole post-pregnancy tips book, but they're getting the workout plan with that. And then for an upsell, you can get this other ebook, which includes all these fantastic diets, detailed diets for them. And another upsell we had is we have all these yoga videos, which kind of ties in with the whole fitness aspect of that.
Yeah.
And that's got about 80 really high definition, good quality videos for them. And they can actually start doing their own yoga right in their comfort of their own home. So,
okay, cool. And so then do you have a website as well for your brand now at this point? And then are you going to be marketing it, your physical products on that website along with this digital product as well?
Yeah. So we did try and I tried to create a Shopify website. It didn't really take off. I didn't really put too much effort into it because I was kind of more focused on Amazon.
Yeah.
One of the reasons why it's also harder with your own website is because you can't get the traffic. That's why everyone loves Amazon. That's why it's recommended to start on Amazon, is because the traffic is already there. Yeah. And I mean, if we were selling products at a higher price rate and we had a bit more of a margin to work with, then I mean, we could start paid traffic campaigns and we could definitely get that to convert. But for the current products we're selling right now, it's just not there. I mean, we'd have to be able to get sales at about $2 worth of traffic, and that's just almost impossible, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But we are working on that. We're actually going to move away from Shopify, and we're starting creating our own e-commerce website from scratch. So,
okay, so you're not going to use like WooCommerce or something else like that instead?
Yeah, I think for the payment processor, we're going to use like Magento or something. Magento.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I mean, we're still working on that because we know how important it is to actually have your own website. Because I mean, right now we're only selling 5 products, but in the future, I mean, if we're selling cribs, if we're selling car seats, stuff like that, we will have that extra margin to be able to get paid traffic. And at that point, you're building a brand, and you can start developing SEO and whatnot, so that it'll be feasible to spend money to get people to go to your own website. And at that point, you can also control the traffic. You can control who you're targeting, who's coming, what you want them to buy. So I do know that is where the most potential in this brand is in the future. It's just going to be slow to get there.
Yeah. So then how do you see the future then? We've talked a lot about the business, some of the challenges along the way, expanding into digital products as well as selling physical products. You mentioned doing higher price items as well.
Yep.
What do you see timeline wise, and what is the goal for the business overall? Are you trying to get it to say, $1 million a year in revenue, and then at that point you look at trying to take it to the next level, or maybe you have a plan for trying to sell it eventually? Or I'm curious what you're planning to do.
Yeah, I mean, those are all things we're taking into consideration at the moment. Yeah, we ideally we know we can get it up to $1 million. It's just finding out how to do it now and how to do it effectively and efficiently. So, I mean, like, we know that right from the beginning because we were doing 20 grand a month off one product. So, I mean, if we found 5 products that we could do 20 more grand off of, that's $1 million business a year right there, right? That's 100 a month, right? 100 grand a month. So we know the potential is there. It's just about finding out how to get there. And, it could be by expanding into the different markets. I know UK is a pretty big market for it. I think their online retail accounts for like 11% of all retail, which is up like double the States and double Canada. So, I mean, there's huge markets out there that we haven't even tapped into. And we don't know exactly what products we're going to be going into next, but, the idea is to just build it up slowly, work on one product at a time, make sure it's good, make sure we can get some decent sales out of it. And in the end, if we can make $1 million business out of this, then we would probably consider creating an exit strategy, try and sell it. Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I appreciate all the helps you've given and just diving into specific details and challenges that you had with your actual business. And I guess the final question I have is there any advice you give? I think that the stories you shared were helpful for people that are already selling on Amazon and those that are thinking about selling. But what advice would you give to sellers just from what you've learned along the way? If you were to pick 1 or 2 things to end it on.
Do not get discouraged, because believe me, I was very discouraged kind of at the end of the summer when all these things happened. So they're being like, there's no way we can recover from this. We're almost going to just put this whole company behind us, work on something else. But, eventually you'll see like a little glimmer of light. And we saw that when we just lowered the prices a little bit and our sales absolutely just skyrocketed. So that's basically where we're at right now. So, I mean, 2 months ago, I never thought we'd be back on our feet, but, we are, and we're actually doing better as far as sales go and profit and everything like that. And I mean, yeah, we're operating at a smaller profit margin, but you're making more money. So it's not really a problem there.
That's great. Well, cool. Thank you so much, David, for coming on and sharing your experience.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And
my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you again so much. All right, and that was the show with David. You can go to sellercast.com/19 to check out the show notes. You can also go to sellercast.com/now if you'd like to start a free trial of SalesBacker, the tool that David was using to help solve the issues when it came down to his baby bowls having some suction issues. And so he was using that to communicate with his customers after they purchase their products. He also uses the tool to help get reviews, as many of the people that are using SalesBacker do. But that's one extra way that you can help alleviate potential issues, is by being able to communicate with your customers after they purchase your products, which is so important. So make sure you check that out by going to sellercast.com/now. And thank you so much for tuning into the show, and we'll see you in the next episode.